Hello and welcome to All Villa No Filler. Remember to subscribe to the show, follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, we think it's time for a summer catch up. Aston Villa launched their first ever Adidas kit on Tuesday with some help from Ozzy Osbourne, no less. But that's not all. Villa have been incredibly active in the transfer market. We'll talk about that too. I'm George Zielinski. I'm joined by regular co host Frankie Maguire. Frankie, it's been a while. How have you been?
It's been a while. I mean, what's been happening in the world since we last spoke at our award
My
show when we
God,
were
where do we
dressed up?
start?
I mean, Britain's got a Labour government. There's been a million Aston Villa transfers that we can't keep up with.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes is still the WWE champion.
Yeah.
England got to a final of an international tournament again.
They've brought Karamax back.
Yeah, England lost again.
England lost again. Yeah,
I've had a haircut. You've had a haircut.
I have.
So
It's been it's been relentless. No wonder we haven't had the
relentless.
time to chew the fat about Aston Villa for so long. We've just had to sort of just hide in a cupboard and wait for all this sort of dramatic current affairs that just to sort of pass us by till we get to a
Yeah.
quiet moment where we can talk about the thing we love the most, which is of course Aston Villa. And what a day, Frankie, to be talking
What a
about
day.
Aston Villa Football Club, the kit launch. All is well in the Aston Villa garden, I have to say. It's rosy and the sun is shining and the birds are singing. It's been quite the day. Frankie, can we just talk about the promotional video first of all? I mean,
My
when it
God.
dropped on social
Wow.
media, I want your reactions. I want to know how you felt. Talk me through it.
Honestly, I had to go for a walk all the way to Australia and back to calm down. I was that excited.
Yeah.
Um, so I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was pick up my phone. I thought, I'm going to go and hate look at Twitter. And there's probably going to be a whole bunch of things on it that make me annoyed and worried about the state of the world.
Sure.
And then I saw that video and I thought, oh, yeah, the kit launch. Yeah. Oh, great. Clicked on it. And as soon as I saw Ozzy Osbourne, I was like, man, they've nailed it. As soon as I saw him first straight away, I thought, I can't remember. Like, because obviously we all like Ozzy Osbourne is a Villa fan. We've known that. We've known he's from Aston.
Yeah.
But I've never really, off the top of my head, like seen him have like an active involvement with the club that I can think
Mm.
of, like, or not really seen him in a shirt in the way like Robert Plant is, Led Zeppelin's Robert Plant with Wolves.
Yeah.
Um, so to see him in that video with Geezer Butler, Geezer, if you're listening, we do get downloads from LA. I think he's out in LA. So,
I think he might be listening. Well,
Geezer,
he is the more sort of prominent Villa fan of the Black
yeah,
Sabbath clan, isn't he?
yeah,
He's the one that tweets about Villa all the time. I think he played at a Villa Park, didn't he, recently with the Foo Fighters.
yeah,
So he's got a much more of a connection to the club. I wonder if he pulled a couple of strings, rang Ozzy, was
maybe.
like, want to get you involved in this.
But
So
honestly, it was an absolutely like exhilarating watch. The whole video, it was just fantastic. I think it's the best promo video I've ever seen Aston Villa do.
oh God, yeah,
Ever. And
absolutely.
there's been some good ones down the years. But there was just having Ozzy Osbourne's involvement, but then also, like Emi Martinez's instant meme look to camera, like
Yeah.
Jim from the US office, Tim from the UK office,
Yeah.
and it bloody hell, like Emmy is that? Does Emmy stand for Tim in Spanish or something? Because he could play that role in the Argentinian office. It was fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
The humor of it, the editing, the creativity and imagination that went into it. It was fantastic and a perfect kind of reflection of what Villa want to be in the sense like we're a club that, I've not just seen Villa fans tweeting about it. So I've
Yeah.
seen like wider media like celebrating what an amazing thing this is that Villa did. And again, it's one of them things that, it raises the profile of Villa, if you want to think about it in quite a cynical way, where, casual fans or people who aren't that into football go like, well, oh, Aston Villa, Ozzy Osbourne. Wow, I didn't know he was a Villa fan. And it
Well, I have
things
to.
like that just
I have to say. I mean, I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, Frankie. Certainly off the podcast, but I might have mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast as well. I play in this football tournament in Holland every year, and I noticed one of the guys that I play with, and it's a really tiny village in Midvoud called Midvoud, which is north in Holland. I noticed that he liked he liked the tweet. He's not a Villa fan.
Yeah.
As far as I know, doesn't really know much about Aston Villa. He's like a massive Ajax fan, but I noticed that he had liked the Instagram post. Sorry, and it's just like it just goes to show like he's someone that I know for a fact doesn't care about Villa, doesn't know anything about Villa, but he engaged with the post and engaged with the video because it's just a great video. It's a video that football fans, football supporters of all stripes and colours engage with and will like and will appreciate. So, and that's something, as you say, Frankie, we're as a club, we're not used to producing that level of content, that quality content. That I mean,
No.
it sounds so poncy saying it, but it's true. We just don't, we just haven't historically been one of those clubs to do that,
No.
and now we're catching up. And I think a lot of credit you have to give to Chris Heck having a well-deserved, I don't know, cognac, whatever he drinks right now. I think he is someone that has done things that many Villa fans won't approve of. Moving season ticket holders to create these kind of premium seating areas, which has caused a lot of upset and a bit of anger. But I think credit to him here. I honestly, I think he's nailed it. It's fantastic. I mean, it highlights the moves that we're making off the field to kind of drive up the Villa brand in what is obviously going to be a really high-profile season for us as a club in the Champions League. This is kind of the start. This is the kind of the starting gun for hopefully what will be a really positive, successful season, really. So it's been great. And what do you think of the shirt itself?
Yeah, so when we first saw the leaks online, didn't we? We exchanged a few WhatsApp, and I think the photo I saw, as did our friend Roisin of this, co-founder Roisin Mendonça, who we all love. I think me and her were both probably the same. We were like, Alex Moreno is a very handsome man, but I couldn't quite get the vibe about the shirt of looking at it first. I thought, well, I mean, the fact it's Adidas, great, and the fact BK8 has gone, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh yeah, and then, but as soon as I saw the video today, the shirt itself just came alive.
Yeah,
and the claret and the blue of it looked. I was like, right, well, that
really sharp
photo we saw that was leaked was probably a bit washed out. What we're seeing now, suddenly, it's like, oh, this looks way better. And yeah, I think there's loads of design. If I could go back to my favorite Villa designs for shirts, it's probably the 90s. But what I do think is, Adidas have probably not had a great deal of time to design this.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that, it was a quick turnaround. Again, fair play to Chris Heck, really, for getting such a premium brand as Adidas involved. JD Sport as well, the fact that we're now on sale in there. Because how many times have you gone to look for a Villa shirt in major stores out, anywhere, even Birmingham itself, and be like, there's no Villa shirts.
Yeah.
How the hell are we supposed to be like a leading club if we're not available in? And now we're available in JD Sports. I can go out in London town here with a bunch of cockneys around me, giving a bit of this, giving that, and I can show them the Villa shirt. They go, oh, right, yeah. What's that? West Ham, mate. And the guy's Villa, mate. And then they headbutt them, But yeah, it's I think the shirt itself, I like it. I think the first time I saw it when it was leaked, I was like, now I look at it. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, I'm liking this.
I really like it. I really like it. It's clean. It's crisp. It's got the iconic Adidas stripes, down the sleeves. And I think as well, I know you and Rashid were talking, about the color. I love the claret. I think it actually looks like clarets. I think we've had a couple of kits in the past where it's almost sort of purpley or pink or reddish, but it's a nice deep claret, like the wine, like it should look. And as you say, I might have a glass of claret after this to celebrate to be honest. But as you say, it really pops out in the promo vid, and it just what a good vibe around the club, Frankie. Today we've seen on social media, thousands have been queuing outside the Villa shop out at Villa Park. The weather's been great. There's been a great buzz. It's a chance to get the Champions League logo on the sleeve, Frankie, as well.
Yeah, I can't
wait. All of that makes it just a really good positive day. And Frankie, we have certainly come a long way since 2011. Do you remember that kit launch, that kit reveal?
George,
down Star City. Do you remember that?
George, I did see your tweet go viral today.
That's right. I mean, I didn't want to plug this tweet, but I tweeted a picture of Shay Given looking mournful as he moved slowly down a escalator by a Nando's in Star City, waving his adoring public in 2011. Showing off I think it was Genting we were sponsored by back then, a
Jesus, wow.
goalkeeper shirt, followed by Fabian Delph and Nathan Delfonso. And I think Darren Bent would have come down as well, the
Yeah.
escalator. So, I mean, from that, granted it was about 15 years ago, but to where we are, where we are now,
It's
it's chalk and cheese, Frankie.
it's a
It
big
really
difference.
is.
And I think, look, you know, I think you mentioned it earlier, Hecker's obviously had a fair amount of kind of vitriol and criticism. Obviously, I think in his first year, I think in some you've got to give leeway in some ways. Like it is an adaptation process, and not everything's going to go perfectly, of course. But I think one thing that I do think has gone well is that not only just sort of this Adidas, promotion, the JD Sport involvement, but also like the video today was absolutely fantastic, but also the mural outside Villa Park. You've got the
Absolutely, yeah.
different
Yeah, yeah.
paintings of Adidas, but Aston Villa have had the best goalkeeper in the world, a World Cup winner. Like everyone in the world who follows football, even casual fans, know Emi Martinez because of what he's done for Argentina.
Yeah.
And it feels like Aston Villa for years have always underplayed the fact that we are, it's almost like we've not quite believed that we are comparable to a Liverpool or a Manchester
Can I
United.
can I can I just say, just speaking about Emi Martinez there,
Hmm.
the goalkeeper shirt is exactly the same design as the Argentina goalkeeper shirts. Like
Well,
exactly the same. And I just think, I don't know, maybe is this a clever ploy? Is this
well, you
is this
see,
is this to try and get, him feeling comfortable in his
yeah,
shirts, both, internationally and domestically? Maybe.
maybe,
Is it because they ran out of time to design a fresh goalkeeper kit?
yeah.
Maybe as well. We don't know. But
Um,
listen, it's the same kit, so
Maybe they'll put on Morgan Rogers' back Messi and he'll just turn into like this unbeatable.
he's
But
halfway
yeah,
there.
I think like having a mural of, Ollie Watkins, Retro Daly, and Emi Martinez and celebrating the fact that we have, Emi Martinez is the world's greatest goalkeeper, an
Yeah.
absolute a historical character within football because of what he did in that World Cup final with arguably one of the most important and greatest saves of all time from Kolo Muani in the final minute. The fact he's done this for Aston Villa as well, the Lille penalty shootout, various incredible performances he's had for Villa. And also, Ollie Watkins now, Rachel Daly doing an amazing job for the women's team as well. But Ollie Watkins being, scoring that goal against the Netherlands,
Yeah,
which
yeah. His
again,
profile is really high now, yeah.
how many kids in the UK growing up watching England play for the first time, or just 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, watching that goal he scored against the Netherlands, they'll never forget it ever in their
Mm.
lives. And that's Ollie Watkins gave them that. And we have these level of players now in the men and women's team, and it's like I think for years Villa never quite sold ourselves. We never like were willing to just be a little bit brash about it. Which I'm not saying I want us to walk around like bloody Del Boy and Rodney Trotty, do you know what I mean? Or like Donald Trump showing off his huge yacht, thanks. But like like a proper proper a mural that at least celebrates the amazing talent and people that we have. And when people walk to the ground, they're reminded of that and they see that.
Yeah.
And it's art as well. It's like an amazing artistic job. And on top of that, getting fans to the stadium earlier, flares going off as the players arrive. Fans get to the stadium earlier, they stand outside, it generates an atmosphere, more revenues because people want to stand around and buy at the stadium or buy outside the stadium. All these things are like it's giving Villa just a bit more of an atmosphere. And I think the commercial team really deserve quite a bit of credit for like at least pushing all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, they do. The one thing I did want to mention, just finally on the shirt, is the pricing. The pricing,
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of money. I think it retails at 80 quid for your basic
Yeah.
replica shirts. That's £10 more expensive than the kit was last year, and I
Mm.
think in 2022, the shirt then 21-22 season was 57 quid. So it's a serious markup
Yeah.
on that. You can also get a pro fit version that if me and you bought, we'd be sort of spilling our sort of the side of our stomachs would be spilling out of.
My
But
my love
uh,
handles, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Love
Yeah,
handle FC, that's who we'd play for.
yeah, sort of be dripping down the side of it. But that's 110 quid. Plus
Yeah.
extras for the names on the back and the Champions League badge, all the rest of it. That's a lot of money for people to
Well,
spend. And I know the club has to recoup money in some way.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I don't mind giving money to the club if I know that it's being spent on things that, you know, I want to see the club improve on. But it is a lot of money, particularly at the time when, you know, a lot of people are struggling.
Yes, absolutely. And
Worth mentioning that point.
absolutely. And I think it's a wider, you know, and ticket prices to go to games as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you want to watch your football team, you've got to pay a bunch of bloody subscriptions to watch it. And I think that's a reflection of the fact that football has got out of control with what we have to pay for things. And in a way, PSR actually makes that worse because it forces clubs to, you know, it's called profit and sustainability, but it's like forcing clubs to find ways to make money. And ultimately, a lot of the ways that they do that is to up prices for various different things. Yes, I think shirt prices generally across the board, ticket prices, and even just what you have to pay to watch a game with subscriptions and that. I think football itself is just, it is pretty out of control, really. And I think it's not necessarily totally a Villa thing. It's actually a wider football thing. And it'd be interesting for us to do a podcast. And you know, I've spoken to Kieran Maguire, PSR expert, Matt Burton as well. But you know, just yeah, talk. You know, because let's say in Germany, for instance, that the fan culture over there is very much is collective. And I think in the UK, or in England, sorry, what tends to happen is that fans get quite, you know, it's about, if it's one club, you get very defensive about your club. It's not really apart from
Yeah.
when we had the Super League, for instance, when I did feel like that was more of a collective.
Yeah.
But I think in Germany, you know, it's probably something to look at where you think, all right, well, what is it they're doing to prevent prices getting too out of control?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know, it's as soon as one club or two clubs start doing it, then the other clubs feel like they're falling behind commercially or falling behind when it comes
Yeah.
to its revenue stream. So they feel that they have to increase their costs as well. So it's kind of, you know, incrementally getting higher for everybody. But hey, listen, I'm really interested to know what other Villa fans think about the
Yeah.
kit and think about all this sort of stuff. So anyone who's listening or watching this, then do please get in touch with us, and we'd really like to know how you feel about it.